Besties by Caitlin, we spilling the tea. From Bravo to pop culture, got opinions for free. White refrigerator by wig, we scream. It's all happening like a mid-season dream. That's my opinion, yeah, I said what I said. Shady confessional, glam toast to my head. Champagne or tea, pour up the truth. Reality bites and we came with the proof. We're all besties here, no lies, no filter. Reading these shows like a guilty pleasure scripture. Cameras up in the drama for days. Hit play now to hear what your besties gotta say. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. But I'll take a Pinot Grigio. I'm not really sure what I've done to you.
Hi, besties. Thank you so much for joining today. It is Monday, September 22nd, and I have not talked with y'all for a while. And if you don't follow me on social media, I have a feeling you don't know what's been going on. And this, I had hoped this would never be a reason, but this would be a case of part of why I tell y'all to give me a follow on social, not just so I can get more followers, but so that I can be in touch with y'all when I'm not able to hop on this mic. Gosh, I know y'all tuned in for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I know this is not part of why you tuned in, but I'm going to have to let you know what's been going on and where we're going from here. Gosh, I'm going to try and do this without getting emotional because it's been a really, really hard month of September for our family. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to try and make this short and try to cry as little as possible. On the first, Labor Day, we had just gotten back the day before from McCoy's first flight and first trip, and it was great. And Labor Day, Jay had something going on, and so my mom and I were hanging out with McCoy at my parents' house, and he kind of walked right behind my mom's chair for 2 seconds, and I heard him scream. He had found he had found in his potty training prize box I had from last year that I bought after he was 3 when we were potty training him. And it was just these stupid little party favor prizes, go poopy on the potty. And one of them was this rubber string. They were different colors. And he had pulled it as far as he could and let go with the wrong hand. What happened after that? Y'all, do not ever let your child play with any stretchy thing that they can stretch and snap, like a rubber band, anything like that. He snapped it so directly in his eye. The next morning, his eye was bright red and he had a blood spot on his iris, the colored part. And so we went to the ER. They have to do something called eye pressure reading, which I can tell you as an adult, it's not fun to do when you go to the ophthalmologist or optometrist. It's the thing where they blow a puff of air in your eye, but they are doing it to a 4-year-old. So you can imagine. The pressure was high, and they were saying to us, you can't get a good or really more so accurate reading at the ER. We have to send you over to the specialist in ophthalmology. So we go over, completely different part of town, needless to say. And they're like, okay, it's called a hyphema, which is bleeding in the eye. It's going to resolve itself. There's a minimal risk of something called a rebleed. He just needs to basically keep his body calm, which you can imagine a 4-year-old. And as the ophthalmologist is telling us this, he is jumping off of the eye exam chair. And just keep him out of school for this week. He'll be fine. Thursday around midnight, so technically Friday, he woke up in the middle of the night and was saying his eye hurt, but we didn't know what was going on. And I have to make some of this short and leave out some things because there are possible actions we're taking against certain parties that, because this is hard. he was in excruciating pain on Friday. And I can only say that it was only because of specific instruction and lack of communication I could get from the specialist that he ended up in the ER across town after we went to another ophthalmologist. And it was him every 20 minutes falling asleep and screaming in pain. He was admitted to the hospital. The thing is, a healthier eye pressure is maybe out of 5. His eye pressure in the ER was 68. You couldn't see the color of his eye. It was completely red with blood. And I promise we're going to have fun in a minute. I have to tell y'all what's been going on and why things are going in a certain direction they're going to go. Gosh, y'all. It's like I really feel like I'm telling my best friends this story over again. So bear with me. I'm so sorry. This is not what you tuned in for. It was not until midnight that Friday, now Saturday, they do another eye pressure reading and it's at 72. He went into emergency surgery at 1 a.m. He was not out until 4 a.m. That was probably the worst night of my entire life. Not going to lie to you. I don't really have any worst enemies, but I wouldn't wish any of this on them. His little eyelid was so swollen. They send us home with 14 eye drops we have to put in a day, plus an ointment in a 4-year-old who's in a lot of pain. I had to ask for extra pain management aside from simple Tylenol. He had stitches put into his eyeball. So come Monday, not doing better. Come Tuesday, because we were told you're going to have a follow-up every single day this week. They decided they were going to have to do a second surgery that Thursday. Everything looked great after it. It was the most relieving thing. And we go to his follow-up Friday, looking good. We go to his follow-up on Wednesday this week. Both of these surgeries were on the front of his eye. And once they cleared the blood out, they were able to see into his retina. So there's a lot of blood in his retina. His eye is completely dilated still, and he is telling us he cannot see anything. The dilation, that's from the eye drops, things like that, from it healing. They wanted it dilated for a little while. It is a scary thing when your perfectly gorgeous, healthy child has an eye that can't focus on you, is going cross-eyed when he focuses, and he's telling you he can't see anything, not even light. So we have to wait until the 6th of October. And I'm telling y'all the date because I don't care how you pray, who you ask. I don't even care if you're into witchy shit. Please send him all the positive thoughts, everything, because they wanted to give it 2 weeks. If this blood has not cleared from his retina, he is having a third surgery from a stupid goddamn rubber string toy. So I hate doing this because I know, as an avid podcast listener, I can't stand it when people are inconsistent. And I had been so looking forward to Salt Lake City. And I want to do one recap with y'all because it was such a great episode in light of all of this. Until my baby's okay, I can't be consistent for anyone. God, you guys, it's hard because I never imagined, as a parent, you think that'll never happen. Nothing will happen to my kid. You feel so much sympathy for anyone who's going through something with their child. You see people really go through it. And we are blessed with the healthiest kid. And right now it's still really hard. He did get to good news. He got to go back to school today, which is great. We started out after the first surgery being told he was going to have 4 to 6 weeks of bed rest to try and prevent another rebleed. You can imagine with a 4-year-old boy. I I asked on social media for prayers, and so many people showed up with love, support, strangers, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm so emotional over this because it still feels like it's not real. But if you could send positive thoughts to him, prayers, etc., that would be incredible. I'm not even going to talk about how completely, pardon my French, but fucked we are about the hospital bills. We have to wait for him getting better is first, right? But if, please, Lord and universe willing, that blood is drained from his eye on its own by the time he goes to the retina specialist, he won't have a third surgery, and then we begin essentially rehabbing his eyes. Because he's so young developmentally, his brain could literally just decide to forget about the eye that was injured. That was perfectly healthy the morning of September 1st. So, okay. I had to let y'all know what's going on and let you know that I'm not abandoning anyone. That until my baby is okay, and at least I got to see in 2 weeks what's going on with him. And I can't be consistent for anyone except for him right now. Additionally, I did something stupid when he was in the full throes of agony, which I pray no one ever sees their child in that much pain, especially a child this young. Whew. I mean, I don't know that it would be easier at any age. It's kind of hard right now because you're still trying to explain to him. He thought it was his dad and I hurting him when the doctors were coming in trying to check to get that eye pressure reading. They have to have his eye wide open still, and it has to touch the iris of his eye. Excuse me, I don't even want any doctor touching my eye like that. And they probably did that to him. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to guess 300 times that Friday when the pressure was so bad, it was like he could have damn near lost his eye. Anywho, until I know we are in that space, I'm going to have to put a pause on this, but I am doing today. And part of why I chose not to even try and mess with Orange County is because at least Salt Lake City, it's funny, it's fun, and I knew I was going to come in and give you this. I'm sorry if this went on for a long time. I have called you guys my besties for a very long time, and y'all have been very kind to me. And so this is one of those rare moments where I am going to have to just open up even more than I ever have. And I don't know what is coming. Sorry, I keep sniffling in this microphone. Used to sobbing on the internet or in your ears. Excuse me. But with all of this, the tough part was Jay got his entire department was laid off in January. Cool. We lost our health coverage. Then wonderfully, I had certain income streams that I made enough money that we wouldn't have even, if McCoy had Medicaid or something like that, he would have lost that coverage come June. And so now this was all done without health insurance. Oh, wow. So good news is Jay may be getting a job at his previous employer again in a new position. We're not sure yet. We're finding out. But with that, I am back to being mom here all the time and my child just in school a few days a week. So until I can be reliable for y'all and know if we're going to be having a lot more doctor's appointments, I'm going to have to pause this podcast. What I am going to do, and I would love feedback from y'all on this because I don't want to leave y'all high and dry. I love having my opinion shared with y'all. I love this community. The best I think I could do right now, because I have to keep the income streams that are keeping us afloat. If I were to, the day after an episode airs, and it could be literally for most of them the morning or at the bare minimum afternoon, because also my other form of childcare, my mom just had knee replacement surgery last Tuesday. I swear. Is it the eclipse season? Jesus Christ. I don't fucking know. But if I were to recap the previous night's episode in a very short recap and give you some of what I can give here, because that's I can't properly record with my son here because I forgot to tell you the stupid thing that I did. Oh yeah. It's been a lot, guys. I feel like I have never done this job before. So when my son was in the full throes of agony and on pain meds in the ER and the hospital, and we were trying to get him to open his eye and he wouldn't, I promised him a puppy. I did. I promised him a puppy. Thank fuck I did not say a pony, because I can't afford a pony or the admin for one. However, this kid is on the good stuff, okay? And God bless this sweet little baby. I had to go back home, get our stuff, because we were getting admitted, and I thought at that point they told me they'd be checking his eye pressure again at 7 p.m. and they could be immediately doing surgery. Well, it was 5:30 on a Friday in the worst traffic. Haul ass come running in. This sweet boy is in his pull-ups and nothing else with his daddy holding him. And he goes, "Did you get me my puppy?" I went, "Oh shit." So we have a goddamn puppy for him. She was the only thing that got him to open even his good eye after his first surgery. And she was the first thing that really made him smile, laugh, and giggle. And he is happy as can be. And we hope she is essentially a therapy dog for him, because that was some real traumatic shit. Okay. God, I've been going on for like almost 20 minutes. I hope if you weren't interested in this, you just fast forwarded. But if you didn't, or if you did, it doesn't matter. Please hear me say this. Follow me on social media. I post more on TikTok right now because Instagram, I'm going to be so real, it takes 30 minutes to an hour sometimes for me to upload a video. Don't know what's wrong with it. I will look into it, but if you just could look, I'm doing my best. I'm thinking I will try and do some recaps that way in the meantime, so that I don't want to leave everyone high and dry. The only person I absolutely won't leave high and dry is McCoy. And I will again beg for prayers. So we have a goddamn fucking puppy. Don't even talk to me about it. It's like having a 2-year-old in the house again with a 4-year-old who is still recovering, and we're having to make sure she doesn't bop his eye and all of that. Okay. I'm going to take a moment to blow my nose so I'm not sniffling in your ears or your faces. And we're going to have some fun before we hit that pause. And it's not a Real Housewives pause. It's a real pause. Just a little pause. Okay, besties. Thank you for listening. Be right back. Okay, besties, let's have some fun, shall we? It is gloriously Salt Lake City Day, and I am so excited to get into it. I think this has become, for at this moment, my very favorite franchise, period. They're my favorite housewives right now. The women that I could not stand at first, I love now. And that does not include Jen Shaw. Let's not resurrect that ghost. Okay. She's spooky enough as it is. She's haunting a prison right now with Elizabeth Holmes and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, Jesus, we're not getting into that. We've already had enough heaviness here. Okay. Gotta love that Blair Witch Project opening with Mary doing the voiceover. How we went from Mary being completely just checked out to being our little darling last year and doing the opening voiceover. Normally it's Heather. And then a little bit of Whitney popping in there. Okay. I got to get back in here. We're going to do this. All right. I'm pretty surprised Mary was willing to do this RV camper trips. And she's the only one who knew what it was going to be going in, right? And with the other ladies having no idea where they're going or what they're doing based on the invite, ladies, did you really think you were opening up the season, going to the beach, laying in bikinis, having a tropical drink? Girls, you're on your 6th year. Why would you think that that's the very first day on the call sheet? Going to a luxurious vacation. It never works that way. I mean, come on. Also, that vague invite was kind of shitty on Angie's part, but I don't know. Because mostly, I think my thing is I need to know how to pack properly for camping. Of course, they ended up not intense. Okay, but still. We find out from Meredith that Lisa isn't coming. And the fact that we don't have Lisa at all in this first episode, except for one little blip, is pretty wild because the entire episode seemed to be about her. And also, if you bitches do not figure it out, I mean, love Lisa Barlow, hate her, find her obnoxious, adore her. Lisa Barlow is fantastic television. Think about it. She gives all, okay? There are so many memeable, quotable, viral moments that we are always laughing about with Lisa. She's part of what makes the show hilarious. She and Meredith, I mean, without them, how? We can't. It's like those two, the dynamic there. Anyway, Heather updates us in confessional about what's happening within the group and why Lisa isn't there. Meredith can't stand Britani. Heather isn't a fan of Bronwyn, and she doesn't know where Mary's at with anyone because that is kind of what you get with Mary M. Cosby. But then there's Angie, Whitney, and especially Bronwyn, who are all pissed at Lisa. With them in the parking lot of Beauty Lab and Laser and this big ass van on steroids, also known as an RV, pulling up, everyone is pissed because also it's got to be PTSD a little bit, but they're pissed because they're like, oh, we thought we were going to go on a PJ somewhere. Well, you're not flying. It's not Bronwyn's trip. Of course, you would have had to take 17C back home. Anyway, Britani is literally wearing a bikini under 2 coats. Britani, it's the thing is, this was just pure attention-seeking behavior because that is all Britani does. Because listen, y'all, I do not care when, where you want to wear a bikini, how you want to wear it, but your reasoning, Britani Bateman, is very particular. Okay, she does look hot as hell in a bikini, though, so I also don't blame her. I'm like, listen, if I had more than one child and somehow managed to still look like that, girl, I'd probably be walking around in a damn bikini in the snow too. Heather in confessional says, I don't know where we're going personally, but unless Britani's going to a pool party with a congressman, you're on the wrong trip. Bronwyn is apparently a germaphobe who has dog shit laying all over her home. Okay. Anyway, she would love to make a hazmat suit chic. Good luck with that. It probably, if it was going to happen, it would have happened during the pandemic, darling. So I think we're good on that one. Everyone is on the bus RV thing, and Whitney notices people walking toward the RV, which Meredith catches sight of these uniforms. And again, with the last time they were all in a van at Beauty Lab and Laser being when Jen Shaw was kind of on the run with those culturally appropriate braids. Yeah, it's the whole thing. And Meredith sees it and is gearing up for drama because we already know Meredith Marks will be dramatic AF on a trip. It's just like I hear Dorinda Medley in my head. She's starting. So we see the guys in SWAT outfits, we'll call them. Little SWAT set. Is that a set you can get on Revolve? Maybe on Amazon. Maybe Paige DeSorbo. Add that to her influencer list. Anywho, we see the guys saying they're looking for Whitney Rose. And I think the only reason Whitney was actually able to play this off looking clueless, like, oh my God, what? Is because she's a clueless human walking this earth of ours. Just, what? You're looking for me? And, the thing is, they're just strippers. Duh. because she's been a bad girl. But her friends have been real bad girls. I think the biggest thing for me was seeing Mary Cosby in the same room with some very young, attractive strippers. And I'm not the least bit surprised that Whitney had a hard time finding strippers like that in Utah. Which reminds me, I will never forget that I thought that the cops that showed up on this last season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives were strippers, but they weren't. Anyway, God bless. I get the reason, though, that Whitney dyed her hair for her daughter getting bullied for being a redhead. I have to say this because this is a quick fix, sort of. Red is a little hard to get the bleach through, but Whitney, you're a blonde through and through. I think what I would love to see in this hair color, it's part of the problem is it is carrot on someone who can't wear it. Oh, did that rhyme? Oops. Anyway, I think you need a few highlights around your face mostly. The rest, keep it, just some subtle brightening. You need a little more blonde there because the reason your daughter's hair is that color is because naturally that's what suits her. So I'm just saying, I love that you were wanting to do that for her, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. It's Whitney Rose. It's a lot of things can't really be explained. So now we're going to be spending roughly an hour on the RV together. And Angie prompts them immediately so we can talk about whatever we want, which was actually meaning go ahead, do something. This show in a van-like type of transportation vehicle is supposed to have explosions. Come on, ladies. Produce, do something. But Heather picks up on it immediately and just asks, where's Lisa? Angie tells them how Lisa wasn't super clear, but wanted to get out of town. Oh, okay. So we cut over to the call with Lisa and Angie where Lisa is actually very clear. Okay. She didn't really hold back at all, y'all. Okay. She's on FaceTime with Angie saying, I don't want to spend the night with Bronwyn. She's a pathological liar. She can't tell the truth to save her life. It's disgusting. I miss her. I don't know. She's a cuckoo bird, but I love it. Then Lisa says, also, I have a work thing. It's like a big deal. I think people forget that I have a very full life because I keep it kind of private. And I'm not going to drop names, but I'll be with Ben and Blake. I'll be with Ben Affleck and you'll be with Bronwyn. It's okay. You didn't drop any names. It's fine. It's fine. They love the name Affleck in Utah, don't they? They sure do. Oh my God. But it comes into question if it's actually a work thing Lisa is doing right now. And I don't know. Ben and Blake, didn't they date? Oh, they did, y'all. What were they doing hanging out? Oh, okay. Because that was the whole thing, the rumor, right? Whenever they were on the town together. Yeah, that movie. Anyway, again, the question of whether Lisa's actually working or not becomes the whole thing. And Brittany, who believes she's Lisa's sister from another Mr. Bestie, comes straight to her defense only so she can turn around and tell Lisa, they talked shit on you and I stood up for you. What about me? Huh? Don't you love me so much and think I'm the best? Should I break out into song about how we are best friends forever, sisters for life? Whitney says she doesn't think Lisa's working, and that's when Brittany tells her she's one to talk, that Whitney's business is getting dragged like crazy right now on social media. Well, yes, it was because you guys took people's money and didn't pay them back and fucked them over, and it was an MLM. But that's Utah, baby. MLM is Utah, baby, because you know what happened before all the Mormon women who are wives and mothers decided to become influencers? What they were doing to supplement additional income in their homes while taking care of their children? MLMs. That's why MLMs are huge in Utah. In fact, Justin's previous job that he was fired from, he was the sales director. I could be getting the title a little off, of a company that, from what I understood, was an MLM. So, again, allegedly. How about that? You can't screw people over of their money when they're trying to earn money working with you. That's wrong. Anyway, the problem here, though, is that Brittany isn't someone who knows how to go toe-to-toe without completely stumbling over her words or getting whiny. I mean, she's worse than Sheree Whitfield when it comes to stumbling over those words. But she thinks she's Lisa's singing Knight in shining bikini with her clip-in extensions as her shield, and that Lisa will appreciate it. But she won't exactly respond the way that Britani thinks she will, because remember, Lisa is the type of person that will be like, no, I can speak for myself. Thank you so much. I can defend myself. I'm a bulldog. Remember? Whitney and Britani, Whit and Brit, okay, go back and forth about whether she can question Lisa not being there and Britani can talk about Whitney's business, which Whitney does not play around. She may be a bug-eyed bird brain sometimes, confused a lot, but she's not going to play around. So she asks Britani, because she's pissed about her business being questioned. Okay, cover the kiddos' ears. Here it comes.
How do you make money? Sucking dick?
I mean, you know what? It did shut her up. I think she knew that because Britani still wants to be viewed as a good little Mormon, it was just going to really pack a punch there. Angie just swigs the bottle. And as they're yelling at each other, Bronwyn's getting pissy because she's next to Britani, who's talking with her hands too much. And really, apparently, according to Britani, she and Lisa are just really good friends now. And my bet here is that they had lunch twice, maybe once, maybe a lunch and a coffee. So we'll call it a 1.5. Took 100 selfies before Lisa approved one. And this is the thing. So in confessional, Heather says she doesn't really know when Lisa and Britani became good friends. So you'd have to ask Lisa. And then we go over to Lisa's confessional room and it's crickets. But we cut to Britani saying she and Lisa are like sisters. And further proof of exactly what I just said, that the only photos production had as proof, these are just a couple of sister girls. It's 2 different selfies in the exact same outfits at the exact same location. So, okay, Britani. Heather is telling them to cut it out. Britani and Whitney going back and forth, telling Britani to stop going after Whitney's business and saying, got a little off on this metaphor here, Heather, saying that going after Whitney's business is like kicking a one-legged dog when they're down. I'm going to tell you what. I think Whitney's going to end up taking offense to that later on down the line because there's a lot things, guys, besties just don't always sink in immediately for Whitney. Sorry, babe. I just feel like Whitney's brain later that night or the next night is just going to go,
But isn't a one-legged dog already down? Is that the metaphor? Can a one-legged dog heal from this traumatic journey?
no. Anyway, love how this bus driver just goes immediately and takes a sharp turn to get them to shut up. Can you imagine? Sound like a bunch of gobbling, shrieking turkeys in the back there, I bet. Well, our little cackling hens, I won't call them the cackling hags, because remember how that was a big thing on Roni. Anyway, we get to our campgrounds, and they are certainly not up to snuff for them because it's a real RV campsite or maybe a trailer park. The decor is a broken down school bus and a dumpster with a beautiful view of railroad tracks. These bitches are going to lose their shit, especially Big Bird over there in her flamingo costume. We're getting in confessional. Bronwyn. The lack of luxury has Mary saying in confessional, she's not thrilled to have her name attached to hosting this trip. We sit for lunch and dear effing Lord in heaven, universe, may she help us. Britani stands up like she has an announcement. She thinks that's going to be her shtick, okay? And it kind of is, but it's more annoying than it is fun. Anyway, she tells them she has a fun activity plan for them and that even though she didn't check with Mary and Angie, that she's the video girl and that's what they all know her as. Oh, Britani, I don't think video girl means what you think it does. No, you don't want to call yourself the video girl. Anyway, I guess that's supposed to be in reference to her recording them in the Sprinter van last year. That's Meredith freaking out at her. But anyhow, she brought some kind of a throwback type of camcorders for them to record the weekend, and everyone is just dead silent. Thank God for Angie at this point, because she just saves her by saying, "How lovely." It's kind of funny that she thinks they need 8 cameras there. Are there 8 of them? I think. I don't know. Anyway, when they have multiple cameras around them, but it did seem to turn out to be a brilliant move for the editors and for storytelling purposes, especially with the opening here. So, and for the way this whole episode ends up. But Angie brings up that she feels the bigger issue at this moment with everything is that Lisa didn't join them. But can y'all imagine baby gorgeous out there? Her glam team wouldn't fit in the RV, and she won't even sit in 17C, honey. Come on. She was not going camping. But Britani just goes, yeah, like as if Lisa passed away or something. Whitney says she thinks there's a lot out there online, and it's why the lawsuits, and that it's why she's not there, because of the lawsuits Lisa had been dealing with, which, yes, that had been circulating a lot for quite a minute there. And Meredith says that she and Heather talked to Lisa about it the other day, and Lisa was like, yeah, it's all settled. It's good. Bronwyn, though, thinks it's very convenient timing for Lisa's schedule to be maxed out with work when she's got the lawsuits. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I do actually think it hurt Lisa more not to be there to defend herself in that regard. I'm not saying that this may not have factored in at all. Like, y'all know I love Lisa Barlow, but I'm also going to call it like it is. I mean, obviously. Bronwyn says she's heard not all of these lawsuits are settled and points out that Lisa has been concerned, for lack of a better word, I guess, about her own finances, Whitney's jewelry, the Angie's husband's rumor, whatever, and with being able to chat about all that's going on with everyone else. So she thinks maybe Lisa should focus on fixing her own things. Methinks, when Bronwyn gets the head nod and gets the nostrils flaring and the brows raised up, she's going there, girlfriend, going there. Don't make me sick one of my boxer puppies on you. Anyway, that's not her voice, but that's how she sounds in my head, basically. Now, Angie is just such a great producer already, because she says that it seems like Bronwyn knows something she's not wanting to say. Now Bronwyn has her monologue, saying Lisa calls them all liars. But when it's turned on her, that's essentially when she runs. I don't know. I don't feel like Lisa runs. She tends to bounce around. I don't know that she runs. But Lisa does know it's eat or be eaten in this group. So I'm not saying Bronwyn's totally wrong, but at the same time, I don't know if you could hang out with, let me say this. Okay. Let's disregard the 2 quote unquote A-listers that Lisa claimed she was hanging out with. Let's just say it was 2 A-listers in general. Okay. Would you want to go on an RV with a bunch of these bitches to a trailer park to go fishing and eat hot dogs without condiments? Or would you want to go have cocktails with the 2 A-listers? Again, let's forget who they are. So certainly a choice in that one. Anyway, Mary, Whitney, and Bronwyn all agree that they feel as though Lisa is allowed to talk all she wants about them and that they aren't allowed to talk about her. What are y'all talking about, though? Yes, Lisa talks a lot of shit, but do you not remember the whole thing of Lisa calling up Sean, her security guy, about what was being said about her, about John Barlow, alleging they were doing some sort of threesome activity, things like that? Utah is the most gossipy state. Remember, and I've been yelled at for this, which I don't know why the residents call it this. They call it Small Lake City. So anyway, apparently at this time that this was filming, there were 5 lawsuits against Lisa and John and or their businesses. And Bronwyn insinuates that Lisa might actually be in court right now because she's not there. And Heather questions a lot of this, but apparently it was in the Salt Lake Tribune, all of that. And they think Heather is playing dumb with Angie joining in. Now, in confessional, when Heather questions why Bronwyn would bring this up and why everyone would be so riveted by it, Heather, girl, come on. Why do you think you all were doing this shit when it was happening with Jen Shaw? You all already do it behind closed doors. You're just wanting to cover your ass on camera. And I love you, Heather. I do. I know a lot of people have problems with Heather. I don't know why. I love my good time girl, but I do. Okay. And I know, Heather, you want to be careful about your friendship with Lisa, but this is not boding well for you. You're losing trust here being that way. Let's be real. You don't have to adamantly defend this by pretending you don't know what they're talking about. You can just be like, look, Lisa and I are in a good place. I hear that this has got to be a conversation. I'm not comfortable and I don't understand the full scope of everything happening. I can only go off of what Lisa has told me unless someone has proof. And a lot of times people on social media will just spew a bunch of shit. So, and you can also admit that you want to defend Lisa, or that it's really most about wanting to protect your friendship and that you have trust in Lisa. So this is difficult, but you're just not going to contribute other than what you've been told by Lisa. You could do that. But anyway, it looks like Heather's picking a new ride or die. So Meredith, though, does it perfectly. And this is why Meredith can float around this group with certain people the way she does. Now, she doesn't with some others, but point being, she just perfectly simply says, borrowing money is a part of business. And that's when Bronwyn's like, yeah, you have to pay it back, though. And she says, correct. That is correct. And that is how you can do it, Heather, without jumping in the fray. You can say, well, yes, borrowing money is a part of business. You can say people sue businesses all the time. We don't know what this personal stuff is. We can only if it's personal, we can only go off of what Lisa is saying. And then, whoa, Angie K. Jesus, did you put too much feta on the eggs this morning? What's happening? Feta, your girl loves some feta. It gets me a little too fired up. That and some tzatziki. Anyway, she says, Heather, I might say what Lisa has done is similar to what Jen Shaw did. Angie, Jesus, I love you, but was Lisa teaching people how to steal from the elderly and handicapped and people's life savings who were just trying to start a new business that they were being sold a pipe dream, a bridge? Come on now. I don't know if Angie is, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, because I watched it twice. I'm sorry. Angie said it was a bad analogy. And it is, which Meredith points out that comparing the two is ridiculous because it's civil lawsuits, not the government and the United States v. Lisa Barlow. Yeah, bad analogy. Angie, I don't know where you were going with that. That was too far. Truly. But Heather seems extremely proud of herself in confessional because she says that Jen Shaw shouldn't even be spoken about. Don't resurrect that ghost. She's in prison where she belongs. And she kind of gives this look to the camera like, there, see, I did it. I can stand up to Jen Shaw and talk shit about her. She doesn't have control over me. But let me tell you, if that producer got a ding on his phone in that moment and said, oh, wow, Jen is getting released tomorrow for good behavior, Heather would have shit her pants and been like, if you don't edit that shit out, I swear to God. Come on. You know it's true. But back to the lunch. Now Bronwyn is on Heather for getting upset at Angie's comparison and asks Heather if Lisa comparing Bronwyn to Jen was too far. So I guess Lisa did tweet about Bronwyn saying, yes, she is a snake and no better than Jen, actually. Well, Heather claims she doesn't know Lisa tweeted this because she's not interested enough to look up Bronwyn tweets over there on Twitter X, whatever the hell it's called. But she bases her thoughts on Bronwyn from their interactions, which she says aren't great. Which I will say, Bronwyn is the most classic example of a housewife that is a good housewife, but there's something you just don't really like about them. Even though I genuinely last year when Bronwyn invited Heather over to her home, I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I felt as though Heather needed to back down a little bit. And just, and I understand that Heather thought, look, you're just trying to get me to apologize so that I'll be included on this trip. And I understand that feeling. And it was more of, she was just digging into some stubbornness there. And at the end of the day, she lost out on that paycheck from not being in the episode. Heather did, or in multiple episodes, actually. And I think that it could have forged a path forward that she could have also, if she needed to, held it over Bronwyn's head for storytelling purposes if it was that necessary. So I think they're both at fault at this point. But here we go, Heather. This is the direction you needed to go, girl. She tells Bronwyn she's not going to sit here while Bronwyn goes so hard about Lisa when Bronwyn just got caught lying about the $4 million necklace. I mean, my God, Bronwyn, after you roped Angie in and all you two did, everything you two did to try and make Lisa look as batshit as possible for bringing it up at the reunion that she'd been informed about the necklace, which, excuse me, we all know. Lisa, you reached out to the jeweler, Emma, and asked her, okay, let's be so for real. She did, Anyway, still making Lisa look like she's full of shit when you were. Bronwyn says it's her fault and she shouldn't have been cutesy with her response about the necklace and claims she was trying to protect herself, the jeweler, and then says, it came out sounding like a lie and that's bad on me. Because it was a lie by omission. It was a lie by redirection. Give me a fucking break. You can spin it any way you want, Bronwyn. It's embarrassing. It's uncomfortable. Just own it and then you can move on. God, now I sound like Britney here in a minute. I will say I appreciate the full honesty Bronwyn does give in confessional, though, when she says that she thought she would buy a different version of the necklace when she knew she wasn't going to purchase it, and that she was hoping these girls wouldn't even notice the difference, admitting it's lying and it's wrong, that she was being very immature in that moment. It was trying to look cool and basically rich in front of everyone. But this is also where I'm like, okay, so if you had found a duplicate and Lisa had not found out from this jeweler, would you have let them believe you were wearing $4 million around your neck, including all of the viewers? Because that's pretty fucking dumb. Anyway. Oh, Britney. No, this was not the moment to pull the, what about me? I'm still sitting here. Because she tries to direct Bronwyn into saying, just say, sorry, I lied. It wasn't cool at the end. And that causes Bronwyn to go, okay, let me know when you've cleared up the lies you've told, boo-boo, and then we'll talk about how to clear up mine. Britney thinks the boo-boo is condescending, but all I can ask in this moment is bitch better? Listen, I can tell y'all one thing. I had to have a very stern conversation with someone. Gosh, was that 2 weeks ago? This has been a black hole of a month, but anywho, where someone, how do I say this? Because of certain things we have coming, try and get things taken care of. Someone who was in a position that they were required to help. Okay. And they were being horrific. Whew. I called them Miss Ma'am on the phone because you know what I couldn't say and would never say just to a stranger like that is bitch. I when I got off the phone, I looked at Jay and I said, did I call her Miss Ma'am? He said, yep, you sure did. I said, Miss Ma'am, the attitude. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Listen, I will say people were saying, yeah, I'm sure, I know you were a mama bear. No, I don't even like that term, number one. But number two, I was not a mama bear when it came to my child during all of this. I was a lion with my tail on motherfucking fire. Okay. I just, when I'm able to talk about all of it, oh, just wait. You will be kind of shocked, I think. Anywho, I came down a little too far. Now it's all about who has had the entire group talk more shit about them when they were present or not. And we get a montage of Lisa spilling the tea and gossiping in retaliation of other people coming for her over the years. But it's an argument about what's actually being stated about Lisa and what's not regarding the allegations. And Angie says she'd say all of this to Lisa's face. And Heather doesn't even want her to say that she was present. She wasn't even here because now she's scared of Lisa instead of Jen. But Meredith gets them to simmer down just a little bit because they need to have it when Lisa is present, this conversation. Okay, well, and then I guess Britney, our queen of breaking the tension, Ding, ding, ding. I have an announcement. Oh, freaking hell. Someone, she stands up and she grabs like the Pellegrino bottle that she's been digging. Jared and I got engaged. Not a single person reacts with anything other than an eye roll, a side eye, and a okay. Because I guess that really did happen back in December and they posted to socials about it. But then what feels like almost a Freudian slip, if we could call it that, I'm sure there's a more accurate term. She had put the water down that she had dinged for the good news part and picks up the bottle of wine to go ding, ding, ding. And she goes, and we got unengaged 2 weeks after that. Y'all, and someone just posted a video of her and him on a freaking scooter. And or one of those, motor scooters riding around Utah and her smacking his butt getting off. You know what I find weird? He rode in the front and she rode in the back. He's taller than her. She should have been on the front with him, like protecting her. No helmets. Idiots. Anyway, apparently their kids didn't support this. And Heather asks her if Jared is dating other women. And her answer is immediately being like, no, and admitting she's still seeing Jared. I mean, oh my God, dude. Is it just that Britney is so wildly immature? I don't know. The most annoying thing about Britney is Jared Osmond. And Whitney says that she sees Jared at the gym on dates at the Lifetime Cafe, which let me tell you, Lifetime Cafe, it's the Lifetime Fitness. They're all of them. It's a whole ass thing in Utah. It's where the Mormon wives girls go. It's where everyone goes. Okay. Lifetime Fitness is like the thing. Okay. And I happen to know other people personally that he's asked out not too terribly long ago. So anyway, we're going to go fly fishing, which sounds miserable. And then kayaking is the other activity. No, thank you. I'm not a nature girly. My type of nature is a beach or water with the sun and heat. Okay. Whitney manages to make the kayaking venture a trio of herself, Heather, and Bronwyn, which the other two are not quite thrilled about, especially when the kayak options are the one-person kayak or the two-person kayak. And Whitney makes Bronwyn and Heather go in the double one. Then the fishing is mostly Meredith asking over and over, how long does it take to catch a fish? And I mean, same, babe. I'm not, yeah. And then Mary thinking, yes, she's, that you could resuscitate a fish on dry land if you caught it. And no, I don't think it kills a fish if you catch and release. That's a thing. What would be the point of releasing it if it's dead? I don't know. And then Angie talking about how nice and peaceful fishing is and quiet, with Britney not shutting up, being like, Angie, I'm over here. What about me? Angie, can you hear me? Is this thing on? Should I just like strip down to my bikini? Would that be, do you think that get attention when the cameras come to me? I mean, Angie apparently was ready to let the lady starve at this point because she didn't bring any of the proper full tools, condiments. I mean, I thought she didn't bring hot dog buns, but she did. So they're going to starve, basically. Mary's not happy about this. I swear, she's going to be removing her name from the title of being a host of this trip, and she's over there eating a stale, dry-ass bagel. But now we're on to this legend of Molly Sorensen and the haunted Provo Canyon. Apparently, Molly Sorensen was a legend at BYU, and in retaliation against the polygamy she escaped in the church, she would capture girls. Only girls, of course, because the patriarchy and misogyny of this church. And she would just, if they were being promiscuous, she'd let the boys go, though, because boys, they'll be boys, right? Jesus Christ. Mary isn't worried, though, because she feels that if Molly were real, she'd come and cook their damn dinner. Now, it's at this point Heather points out that she's doing something nice for Bronwyn by putting her hot dog on a stick for her. And that is what prompts Angie to ask, Do you think you're getting along right now because Lisa's not here and you can finally just be yourself? Oh, Jesus. Angie, right out the gate, she's proving why she still gets to be center snowflake. But Heather obviously does not like that. And Whitney starts in by talking about how it is being on the outs with Lisa. And Heather, I don't know why, has not registered that Whitney is also on the outs with Lisa Barlow. And it's not just Bronwyn. And Whitney's like, hello, after New York, as in the reunion. How Lisa was saying things online the day after the reunion. And one of them being that Whitney is a liar who borrows her clothes. Whatever. Listen, they have to wear so many fabulous clothes. What's wrong? I don't know what's wrong with borrowing clothes, but okay. I think it was because she was saying Lisa did, but it's been a month. It's been a year, whatever. I can't remember everything at the moment. I'm doing my best. Britani then jumps into the fray because God forbid this crazy bitch not talk for 20 minutes. So she tells Whitney, I think it's hypocritical for you to be upset about the things Lisa said online when you asked me about, it's so crass. I just don't even think I can say it. You asked me if I make money by having sex with Jared. Except that's not what Whitney said, of course, because that's the thing. Britani makes every single solitary thing about Jared. Of course, she has got to be so insufferable to spend more than 15 minutes with if this is how she is. She literally finds a way to make all roads lead to Jared Osmond. And that's what's freaking, like, you're trying to ruin our saying here that all roads lead to Bravo. Stop, Britani. Jesus. But Heather points out in confessional how incredibly horrendous Britney's timing is. And, it's almost as bad as her taste in men, which is horrendous. And y'all, enough. She's obsessed with Jared because he's an Osmond and somehow has money, even though he's just the nephew of the famous one. So I don't know. Let's be so for real. If Osmond was not such a famous name amongst the Mormon community and in Utah, Britney would not give a shit about Jared Osmond and he would never get a date. I will never get over that he called Bronwyn a little bitch. Ooh, I can't explain. It's the way a man like that saying, you little bitch. Ooh, that makes me what a punchable face he has after that. Okay. Don't worry. I'm not threatening violence. Jesus Christ. I wouldn't waste breaking a nail on Jared Osmond. Okay. And now it's back and forth about why Whitney said the Essing D thing. And she says sorry to her, but Britney is so focused on getting a moment, she doesn't even freaking hear it. And everyone's rolling their eyes at Britney because it's not even her fight. And now she's pushed Whitney to this point that she has to say she had a business that failed, and that's that. I mean, okay, she admits Justin went all in with her and that they now have nothing. Oh, God. Fuck, babes. You couldn't have picked a more reliable business. You couldn't have gotten a Swig franchise, a Sonic, I don't know, a Sweet Greens franchise would have been more reliable. But now Whitney is admitting everything, that her whole business completely tanked with having to lay off employees and how the business feels like a huge failure in many forms. Okay, but it was the choices you made within your business, Whitney. I'm sorry, and by choices, I mean to structure it as an MLM, okay? I don't want to see anyone's family go into debt like that or lose everything. I really genuinely don't. It's just there was no financial advisor you could have talked to. You're making money on this show and also having to spend money to keep up appearances. So maybe the red was to not be paying to go blonde. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Go brown if that's your natural color, honey pie. Grown out roots are still in. Just saying. Anyway, Britney says she's sorry, but she's learning quickly that it was stupid to take what was being said about Lisa and just immediately attacking Whitney. Let Lisa fight that fight. What you could have said was, why the hell are you going on about Lisa? Who cares if she's at a work thing? What is it to you? So, I mean, it's just, she doesn't fight intelligently. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I'm being a little more brutal today. I think it's understandable, right? I have an issue though, because Whitney now says TikTokers want to get famous off of her failure. Now, wait a damn minute, ma'am. You better not be fucking talking about me or the girls that you fucked over, because I will talk about you doing that because you need to rectify that situation or find a way to have someone help you rectify that. You don't get to cheat people out of their money. You know what? One of the things that happened, they were all supposed to go to this fabulous retreat. All of these employees, their teams were, and they paid for it. I think it was somewhere around like $500. Most people, $500 is an investment and a lot of money. Okay. For the average person, yes, $500 is a lot of money. So anyone being like, it was only $500. Yes. Do you know how much groceries cost right now? My power bill is actually less than 500. Not much less this summer, but it's less. Anywho, that is something that impacts people's lives. So yeah, people are going to fucking talk about it because she also bought a business that was a failed MLM. That's what they acquired. What was the name of it? It was some stupid ass name. Sorry. So ragey today. I've been ragey a lot lately, and I'm sure you can understand why. I can't remember the name of it. I talked about it previously. And it was this, they were selling these diet pills that the body was not even digesting. It would come out the way corn does. And people were wanting their money back. And she bought the company. How stupid. I'm sorry, but my God. Whatever. Anyway, Britani tries to go hug Whitney, which again, another dumbass move because Whitney said, okay, I'm sorry, I just lost my place. I'm feeling like I'm going too hard. And so I lost my place. Excuse me. Okay, Britani tries to go hug Whitney, and Whitney's telling her, I'm not ready for that, you idiot. And Brittany's like, well, it doesn't mean I can't comfort you. I'm still wanting an apology for the S&D comment. She already gave you one, you numbnut. But Britani isn't getting any of this, in my opinion. What Whitney said was clearly stupid. And again, this is in my opinion, all right? What she said about the S&D was stupid. But you're bringing up some real stuff for Whitney. Whitney didn't believe that that's how you make your money. Do you see the difference and the distinction there a little bit? Whitney does not and did not actually think Britani made money by way of like sexual favors. Was it a really shitty, reckless thing to say? Yes. I'm not denying that. But for example, if she had said that to, oh gosh, I'm going to say Bronwyn and if Bronwyn wasn't going to play the, you're just saying I'm a gold digger, emotional, I've been cheated on card. If Bronwyn wasn't going to go that direction, I can guarantee you if she came to play, Bronwyn would have been like, yeah, and I make more money than you doing it. So Britani needs to learn this game better because it's just backfiring on her, okay? Now Meredith is jumping, saying that Britani turned on the one person who was nice to her, being herself as a Meredith. And it's funny how Britani thinks she and Meredith were good friends. And Meredith's like, no, we were not. And I think this proves further that Britani and Lisa are not the good sister friends she thinks they are. Because when Meredith asks her, have we ever even spoken on the phone? Britani says once, twice, which has Bronwyn and Whitney cackling. But Britani says that Meredith used her as a punching bag for her latent aggression. No, you triggered her. So yeah, she's going to yell at you. Meredith just can't stand her and thinks she's an idiot. As if this wasn't a horror show enough, though. Heather wants to go on their own little ghost tour. And I love how Mary has only just now at this stage in her life noticed that in scary movies, the bullshit Hollywood trope is to kill off the Black people first and doesn't realize that everyone has actually noticed this bullshit. Because let me just tell you, if anyone of any ethnicity in these films would have survived in those movies, no matter what, it would have been the people of color, because they know I'm not going in that house. It's only us idiot white people that do that stupid shit. So anyway, and I'm speaking about myself, but Heather is seemingly leading an acting class, the way she's coaching them through this Blair Witch Project ghost hunting tour experience to ensure they know they are supposed to be scared. I want you to think about Molly Sorensen and all the victims of her retaliation. Shining the camera right at Britani when she says Molly Sorensen looks for women with loose morals. And Britney's like, hey, okay, but why is this one got to be about me? They're all panicking and crying, and it's a full-blown Blair Witch with Meredith crying that she wants to go home. I have no cell service. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. And she apparently just takes off running. Shit, it ends on it looking like she may have fallen down. You okay, Mare? You okay, hun? I hope so. We love you. We love you, Mother Mare. Okay, besties. That is the end of our recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 1. Please, again, follow on social media so you can see when I'm back, because I don't want to leave you guys high and dry like this again. I'm praying I'm just back in full swing in 2 weeks. And so is McCoy. And please pray for him. Something, this is whatever, but something you could do to help is if you could have any of your friends listen to episodes and go ahead and let the commercials play. That helps our family possibly pay for these medical bills that I'm not trying to be like, here's my GoFundMe, because we're going to get it figured out. We are scared, but we are going to get it figured out. The most important thing is McCoy. Okay. What also helps is leaving 5-star reviews with what you love about the show. Because I say that all the time, and really it is supporting this business. So it helps enable that I can come back and that I can get things taken care of to come back. This is not me trying to be sympathy sob story at all. I do want to very much reiterate to any parents, anyone who's around children, do not let them play with rubber bands. Anything that's stretchy that can be snapped like that. I never want to see this happen to anyone else, ever. Because we don't know what the future for his vision looks like now. Okay. I will be back. I promise. Don't. Caitlin, stop it. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It is a big deal, but it's fine. Please, again, go follow on social media so you can keep an eye on when I'm back, what's happening. Please pray for McCoy. Send him all the positivity, however you do that. It's at Besties by Caitlin, CAITLIN. And I will do my best to keep everyone updated there. That's the only thing I have the mental capacity and time for at the moment. So I'm not leaving you guys high and dry. Send me a DM. I've responded to every single one of you who have DM'd me. If you would like to have me do at least like short little recaps after the episode airs on social media, I would love to do that. I don't want to completely give this up. Okay. And I'm not. I just, at least in the interim. What do you think? All right, besties. I'm hoping I see you soon. I love you all so much. I just want to sign off a different way, but I will see you as soon as I possibly can. Okay. Love y'all. Bye.
Besties by Caitlin, we spilling the tea. From Bravo to pop culture, got opinions for free. White refrigerator by wig, we scream. It's all happening like a mid-season dream. That's my opinion, yeah, I said what I said. Shady, confessional, glam, toast to my head. Champagne or tea, pour up the truth. Reality bites and we came with the proof. We're all besties here, no lies, no filter. Reading these shows like a guilty pleasure scripture. Cameras up in the drama for days. Hit play now to hear what your besties gotta say. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. I'm not really sure what I've done to you. But I'll take a Pinot Grigio.